What you doing? I'm your otaku Tanner, the AC Stories for this alcohol and anime. Technically not anime this time, but close enough. It's been a while since I've done a live action. I feel like I normally do them once a year just cause. And for some reason, the one I picked, I guess for this year, is Uzumaki. Um, I knew there was a live action Uzumaki. Um, I pretty sure I watched it before at some point. I don't remember. I vaguely remember it, but I saw it was again, and I was like, why not? Because there's not much else coming out that I care for, so I did it. But before I get too much into that, I need to talk about the alcohol part. There's no anime, so I might as well at least talk about the alcohol. Okay, this one was. I am a big Jujutsu fan. I have a collection, all the English releases of everything, and a whole lot of merchandise. I know what happens in Uzumaki, the manga. Like I said, vaguely remember. So I was like, okay, well, I should be able to perfectly come up with a drink that would fit this Uzumaki, not the film, because I didn't remember the film exactly. And I couldn't. I just couldn't think of anything that would do it justice because it's weird. It's just so weird. The obvious thing is, oh, something with a spiral. I was like, I could do that, I guess. But I don't know how to keep something, a drink, with a spiral. I could do what the dad does, and which is just to pretty much spin my drink around or swirl it around. That kind of makes a spiral. I could do the whole water bottle thing where I take a water bottle, turn it upside down, and spin it around. And that creates like a whirlpool, which is kind of like a spiral, but also kind of not. That's the thing. And I don't know how technical a Uzumaki is to a spiral or just spinning, because I feel like those get mixed up. So I don't know exactly what will technically count as a Uzumaki. Is it just a spiral pattern? Is it spinning specifically? I don't know. But so there's those obvious things. But then I was like, I couldn't think of anything. Like, okay, I have a concept, but then what? Um, and I was like, okay, well, there's some obvious things, like as far as I'm thinking of flavor or things you would eat or whatever they're in. I didn't remember specifically any alcohol that stood out, but there is like the first thing that popped in my head was like, well, there's snails, and I was like, there's no fucking way I'm drinking snail. I've eaten escargot. And it wasn't bad, but there's no way I'm drinking snail. Ugh. Um, I'm trying to think of like manga at least. There's nothing else that really stands out like something I could eat or flavor or whatever besides snail. And snails like play a big role in this. It starts by the dad looking at snails. They're snail boy. The people start turning into snails. Then the people start eating the snail people. But I can't do it. Also, I don't know how to make a drink out of snails aside from like blending up snails and putting them in like alcohol or something. No, no. So I was, I was like, I'm just going to go to a liquor store and hopefully find something that sticks out and inspires me. And I kind of accidentally found the perfect drink to fit this film. Because I was like, oh, this thing. Now this will mess you up. This will like mix up and get you spiraling out of control and all that stuff. Which is absinthe. I was like, oh, this will like fuck you up. If you drink too much of it. It's like 50%. I've had absinthe plenty before. It's nothing special. It's actually tasty. I really like absinthe. But it is like 50%. Because it actually is easy to drink, you can drink a bit too much too fast. It's like, oh yeah, no, of course this works. I mean, if worked for Van Gogh, and you know how that went. Sure, it worked for this, and then I messed it up because what I did is, well, the brand I got. Does the brand matter? I don't know. It's like some kind of Italian absinthe. I don't know if the brand matters. I'll say the brand because it actually was good. It was a Cristiani Absinthe Superior Parnese. I don't know. It's some Italian thing. And it was good absinthe. And what I did is I mixed it with a rose lemonade tea I already had made. And it was about 50-50, maybe a little bit more of the tea. But it was pretty close. And here's the thing. It was actually pretty good. It was actually really good. I didn't have much tea left though. But here's where I messed up. Because I was like, oh, well, I can't just drink the absinthe. I have to do something that mixes. And so of course, I swirled it around and I did that. And it's like, oh, what I really should have done is just kept something to stir it every time. And I realized that after drinking it. I was like, oh, I should have mixed it. That way it was always a spiral every time I drank it. The true mess up was absinthe, very recognizably green. This movie is so fucking green. I do not know why. Also, I guess I could have got meatery because at one point they do eat like a melon or something. But that's not what I'm talking about. This movie is so fucking green. I do not understand. And it made the absinthe perfect. Except when I mix the rose lemonade tea into it, it's not green anymore. It's kind of a brownish. Not a very appealing looking drink. Actually, it settles. It doesn't completely mix. That's the other thing. So you kind of have the darker part settling. I'll have pictures posted either on my Ko-fi and Patreon, maybe my social media if I remember. But yeah, it doesn't completely stay mixed. It settles. But then I was like, damn it. I didn't know it was going to be so green. I don't understand why it's so green. And coincidentally, just looking into the history or the weird, I don't know if it's weird, but how Japan or Japanese people, whatever it actually is, didn't distinguish too much between blue and green. So most greens are considered blue. I don't know if that matters. But then this was so green. I messed up. I should have just had nothing but straight absinthe. Ooh, I still got plenty. My other thought was maybe peppermint. Peppermint kind of has that swirl in it, but it's not like a true swirl. It's kind of like I don't know, like it was kind of rotated a little bit. So the lines are bent. So not really a Uzumaki, I would think. But like I said, I don't know the exact philosophy of Uzumaki. Even though the dad, who has a name, I keep just saying the dad, who Toshio Saito, the one who starts this whole thing, goes into the greatness of Uzumaki, and I don't remember word for word, but so I don't know exactly. There's just a lot of spinning, and maybe that's it. Maybe it's more the spinning than the spiral, but no, it has to be the spiral. I don't know. That's what. Okay, so that's a drink. Fuck, I had a name for it. I always forget to write the name of my drinks down. Hang on, it might come back to me. Wow, what was I gonna call you? This is the damn, the green mix, the green. It's not green though. Damn it. See, I messed it up. I can't. I had a name and I don't remember it. When I first made this, I had a name. Damn, maybe I'll remember by the end of this episode. Oh well. I love absinthe. Absinthe's so good. I don't know why I don't get more. Oh, it's kind of pricey. The reason I got the one I did is because it was the least pricey. And it's actually good for the price. I didn't do the sugar thing. Mainly because I thought I had sugar cubes and I didn't. And then from the last time I had absinthe, I was all ready for it, and then I don't know what happened to my sugar cubes. They might have went bad or something. And I didn't want to just pour sugar into it, so I didn't do that, and I didn't need to. Honestly, I don't ever really need to. I don't get the sugar thing still. You don't. I don't know. But yeah, that's my drink. My something green mix. Green mixed. Wait. I don't know. Something like that. But yeah. So let's actually talk about film. So I kind of started mentioning while I watch this. There's not much going on movie wise. There will be, but even then, I don't care about what's coming out that much. I have a list of anime films that I want to go through anyways, and I'm just saving them specifically for the podcast, even though some I want to go ahead and watch. And for some reason, those I want to go ahead and watch, I didn't watch because I was just strolling looking for movies just to add on my list, and I thought I already had one planned. Oh shit! It works out so perfectly. No, here's the other thing. I was thinking to myself, man, I should have saved this for April because, 420 green and all that. No, March is the green month because of St. Patrick's Day. I was trying to look for something that was fit more St. Patrick's Day, and I was like, nothing's really sticking out. I was like, ooh, Uzumaki. Then I started thinking, I was like, I think there is a new Uzumaki English release. Did it already come out? I don't remember exactly the day it comes out because I already have it pre-ordered. And I was like, oh, that's coming out. And then I was thinking about like the other Uzumaki, the failure that was a show, and how I still don't understand how you try to fit the whole 4 hour or in that 4 episodes, a whole Uzumaki. And then I was like, well, this is a 90-minute movie. There's definitely no way they're getting the whole manga in there. And I was like, I should just go ahead and watch it. It's like it's been a while since I've seen a live action. I don't know. I guess Amazon has more and more stuff, and I don't care much for it. And then I was like, oh no, Amazon lately's only been having dub stuff. Luckily, this was subbed, cause I probably wouldn't have watched it if it was dubbed. I wouldn't be able to do that. So it was just me, like, fuck it. It was like a fuck it, why not? And then it turned out to be perfect. It was so green because it's plenty past St. Patrick's Day now. It's also not Irish, it's just Japanese horror thing. But it all worked out beautifully accidentally. Dang. I didn't realize that either. Oh, I guess it was meant to be. Yeah. And I guess, I keep saying it, I guess the whole green thing is, yeah, it's like a horror thing. So it has to be, you don't want to be all bright and cheery. But you also don't want to just be dark, I guess. So maybe they're trying to like, oh, it's the green maybe because of like night vision s. Is there the same reason like night vision is kind of green? Is that why this film also has a green tint to it? Because of how they try to record it dark, but then like the technology and equipment back then. Maybe that was why. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. This is just me just trying to think about it. But that would make sense to me. Huh. Anyway, so yeah, that's why I watched it. Now, I probably would have been better to watch it when the anime, I guess, came out, if you can call it. Yeah. Here, I haven't watched it just because of how disappointed I am in already. And it's kind of like my biggest flaw or gripe as who I say I'm a huge Junji Ito fan. I just can't bring myself to watch it because I already saw the pacing of the first episode. I didn't watch the first episode, but I just kept seeing people talk about the first episode and what was in it. I was like, there's no way. Like, there shouldn't be any reason all this stuff is in one episode. And I was like, the pacing must be terrible. And especially with something like this. This is something where you don't want to rush it. It, like, builds towards the end, of course. Like, the second half of it is more, like, fast-paced, more things going on and chaotic. But the first part, what makes it creepy is, which I actually think this film does well, is it kind of just builds and, like, these instances pop up. But if it's just like, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, it's like, I don't know. I need to watch it, regardless of the reception it's gotten from everyone else, because I just have to. Oh, but enough of that. I'm talking about a live action film, not that. So, actually, I'm looking at the movie poster right now. It's pretty green too. It has some other snail colors in it. So much snails. Damn. Uh. Yeah. But it actually is kind of green. I think it's just technology. I don't think it was intentional green. I don't know. Also, like a story about snails and why I'm not crazy about them. I don't have anything against snails, but I had to do like work underneath houses that have flooded, so I get all up in a nice protective suit or whatever to keep me from getting soaked. I'll crawl under. I'll pull out like fuck, what do you call it? Oh, I'm blanking, dude. The insulation from underneath houses, drag that out, like try to get water out of that stuff. I would literally be crawling under in like mud. I don't know if it's a house, if it was just this house. Then there was snails all on the bottom. I'm thinking back on it now, it must have been terrible. But there was just snails everywhere. I was literally crawling on snails, and I could just hear and feel the crunching. It was weird. Also, there was the cricket spiders just jumping everywhere. Like, they don't bother me. They didn't mess with me any. But the fact that they're jumping around while I'm hearing the crunch of snails is... And then I got really sick. I got so sick. One of the worst I've ever gotten. And then while I was sick, I flipped a 4-wheel. Right, that was just a bunch of stuff all happening around the same time span. So yeah, not crazy about snails. In Hawaii, there's big ass snails, not like human size, but the biggest snails I've seen in real life so far. And then of course I've had escargot. It was actually kind of tasty. I don't know if it's worth eating it, but yeah, but dang, there's. I feel like I should make a snail drink, a snail themed drink. Maybe not snails in it, but I don't. What would make something snaily? Maybe something French because it's cargo. I don't know. I still haven't thought of any kind of better drink for this besides a snail themed drink. Something earthy, maybe gin, maybe I don't know. Oh well. Let's actually talk and get a little bit informational about this film because it's actually interesting. And I first started reading. Well, I first read Uzumaki. That was my first Junji Ito thing. Back when I was in high school, I think it would have been like 20. I think it was 2012. It was my senior year of high school. I think it was the last semester of high school, actually. Yeah. My school library, whoever was keeping... I think I mentioned this before. Whoever was stocking the manga in my school library, holy shit. You did a phenomenal job. Also, I hope you never got caught because it'll be hard to protect you. It'll be hard to rationalize why you had this kind of stuff because boobs. There was boobs in this. There was boobs in Get Backers where I read that. And there was like a lot of manga. It wasn't just like random volumes. You had like full series, and it was great at high school. I don't know who the librarian was. I think I saw the person once and then never talked to him. I was just there for manga. But yeah, so I read this in high school from my school library. I doubt it's still there. And that's just where it was. Eventually, I went and bought my own copy. That's where my Junji Ito obsession came from. But even then, like, learning more and more about Junji, I knew Japan-wise, Junji Ito's been doing this a while, pretty famous. And, of course, like a few years ago, Junji Ito became a lot more famous. I guess around when the first anime series came out, especially with the Cat Diary. That became kind of something people would like. Otomie, people really like, and then of course Uzumaki. And so that's when people like sort of finding out about Junji Ito, it's probably when people thought Junji Ito became famous. It's kind of like that whole, how I don't want to call it a meme because it's kind of douchey, anyways. Of the a reporter asking like the star of Squid Game, what's it like to be famous now? When it was already a famous actor, it's just because this, like, I don't know, person from the U.S. who doesn't know anything outside U.S. finally is like, oh, look, you're someone famous now and not part of blah, blah, blah. It's like, nope, always been famous. And Junji Ito's been kind of like that. But I still didn't realize how famous Junji Ito was. Like, Uzumaki came out in February 11th, 2000 in Japan. I don't know if that date is significant for any reason. Simultaneously, apparently, there was a screening in San Francisco, which I just didn't know. 2000? Like, in the U.S. at least? That is surprising to me. But it's not only that. There were a lot of Junji Ito manga being turned into films or stuff. I think I saw there was The Hanging Balloons, The Long Dream. It's like, those aren't even like the most popular ones, but apparently they got adaptation. I don't know if they are actually, put out to the public, but they are at least in the works or got made. Or, I don't know. I don't know exactly how well received those were. And then Tomie, same time, apparently, was put out as a double bill with Tomie replay. I guess just a Tomie. I know this one is also in. I think this one was on Shudder. I don't have Shudder, so I could watch this at some point. So there was already a lot of Junji Ito adaptations out, and now I want more. How does the anime, whoever tried to do Uzumaki the anime, how do you mess that up so much? And there's people who like talk shit about the Crunchyroll and Netflix. I don't know if they're the ones who actually produced it, but the Junji Ito series that are on Crunchyroll and Netflix, people want to talk shit about those. They're actually pretty good, and they're pretty faithful to the manga, and I still give that feeling. They don't try to force it to be like an actual episode. There's some that half and half episode. There's some that's most episode, and then you get the little tiny ones. So whoever did them well, and I don't know why there's so many haters for them. But then they dropped the ball so hard on the Uzumaki one that they had planned a hype for years. I don't know. So, and then it's the color issue too. Like Junji Ito, mostly it's in black and white. But we get to see some of the color, like the covers and stuff. You see that style, and you can apply that into the anime if that's what you want. I don't know. I never had a problem with the series. But in this film, it's surprisingly, I don't hate it. Don't have too much to hate on it for, only because I understand what they were going for and it makes sense. I still wish they would have just done the whole manga series, but if I was to try to take part of Uzumaki and turn it into a film, I think I would have went something similar to this. Which, I don't know if that is really saying anything good or not. But, so this film, director is Higuchinsuki, who is, I'm pretty sure still a Japanese director, but Ukrainian born. It's not the person's real name, but that's the name I'm going to stick with. So yeah, I guess also supporting Ukraine 25 years later with this. Also a hard name to say. Higuchinsuki. Screenplay, I guess the person who mainly wrote this, and I guess who should have my thanks, respect, definitely respect. It's like, oh yeah, my compliments go out, especially to Tako Niita. Produced by Sumiji Miyake. I know you could just read this on Wikipedia, but I'm going to go out too. Oh, this one I'm going to point out especially. Cinematography, because I think you're the one who would be responsible for the greenness. Again, Kobayashi. Hey, I don't know what was going up. I don't know exactly what is involved with cinematography and what responsibilities fall under that title. But if you're the one responsible for the greenness, I guess you were doing the best you can. Now, the one. Okay, I don't know who does sound effects. I don't know what I call the sound choreography. Um, uh, but the music is by Keiichi Suzuki and Tetsuro Kashibuchi. And if you are also in charge of the sound effects, well, the music was fine. Most of the music worked. It was used sparingly because you don't need a lot in horror. I appreciate how the music was done for the most part. I feel like there was still sometimes music that was like, maybe this is a little too cheerful for what's going on. It's the sound effects, though, that were nonsense in the nicest way to put it. They're so cheesy, made no sense where you put them. And there was some kind of, sometimes cheesy visual effects too that also just made no sense. And it was weird. I don't know why or what was the point. Trying to add a little bit of humor, I guess, because it was mainly near the beginning. I don't know, try to add a little bit of humor or lightness to it before things got heavier and darker. But it was just, it really stood out. I like that the music was sparing, but those sound effects are just, they were bad. You shouldn't have done it. But here's the thing about Junji Ito is kind of a quirky person. Junji Ito is actually pretty humorous. And like I already said, mentioned the Cat Diaries. There's other humorous Junji Ito stories. And like that's fine. And it works with how Junji Ito does it. But in this, Uzumaki, at least from what I remember in the manga, there's never really a point. It's humorous or light. It's kind of starts heavy or starts weird and just gets heavier as it goes and weird, twisted. Definitely. Oh, that's what it was. That's what I was going to name it. It was going to be Twisted Tea. Green Twisted Tea. Green Twisty. Oh, Twisted Green Tea. Even though it's technically not green tea, but it is tea that's kind of greenish. It's twisted. Oh, green twisted tea probably. That way it doesn't get confused with twisted green tea. Wait, what? Maybe it was green tea though. Twisted green tea? Yeah, okay. Maybe something like that. So that's the name of the drink. Took me a bit to remember. Okay, so yeah, there's that. What was I talking about? Music. Whatever. Okay, yeah. And then overall, this was 90 minutes, and it doesn't cover most of the manga. I had no idea what it was actually going to include, but like I said, it was decent enough. So, initially starting this, me thinking, okay, if I was to take part of this manga and turn it into a movie, what part would it be? And I was like, what if you focus on Shuichi's family mainly and build that up as the drama and horror and how things play out with that? And that is what happened. Surprisingly, and it was okay. For the most part, it worked out well. The weirdness with Shuichi at the end made no sense, but because that's definitely not how that one was supposed to end. Also, spoiler alerts. I'm about to start really talking about what happens in here. I mean, it's an old film. It's Uzumaki. You may or may not know it, but just in case, And because I usually forget to say that. I don't think I need to go through point by point of what happens in this. I'm probably just going to ramble mainly about things that pop up and what to talk about. So, like I said, most of the stuff isn't in here. And the main story follows along. Well, of course, it follows along with Kyrie. Mother's dead, no brother. So it's just Kyrie and the dad. And then Shuichi's family is just Shuichi and the mom and dad. Which is good, because that's what the main story is. I guess Kyrie doesn't need a brother because the whole... Was there really a plot to that? I don't know. Am I thinking of that correctly? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Or some kid. Whatever. So, yeah, it focuses mostly on that. I had no idea when this is supposed to take place. I was like, is it supposed to be kind of older? And I think most people don't realize, at least with me growing up, late 90s, early 2000s, everything around you mostly saw, well, I also grew up in small town. So it fits actually that, like, time period, late 90s, 2000, of how I grew up in the U.S., of, like, everything was old. Like, it was stuff from, like, my grandparents, like, age or era, what they had and still had. And that's what we kept having, at least when I was a kid growing up. So that's what everything here has felt like, is like all this stuff is still from like their grandparents' age. Until like at one point in the movie, Kyrie busts out a cell phone. I was like, the fuck, wait. This is everything else has felt so old, and then there's randomly a cell phone. It's like, okay, I guess. And it makes one call that doesn't go through, and then that's the end of the cell phone. I was like, okay, that's something. But yeah, for the most part, I feel like the family with the dad and mom, or Shuichi's, the Saito family, goes pretty faithfully. The dad getting obsessed with spirals, collections, everything. There was a bath scene. I'm pretty sure there's a bath scene in it. The manga. I should have went through this point by point in the manga. I don't have time for that. Just to double check. But that was in there. But there's the drink, obsession with that. Still's a barber sign. And then the point I was really looking forward to was change. Oh, the part I hated the most in all this is the fucking eating sounds. Because, I already forgot the dad's name. Toshio had dinner, eating like the little Uzumaki, like you're seeing ramen or whatever. Just eating those. I hate the sound of eating. The sound of chewing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I'm a hypocrite. Those kind of noises, I hate. I can't. Like, it gets me irrationally angry with people in real life. This just disgusted me because it also focuses on Toshio's mouth. So that was the worst part. But then, like, it just keeps continuing with that. I already mentioned the, like, passionate speech Toshio gives to Kirie's dad, Yasuo, a pottery person. But then when Toshio dies, which is why I don't know. I was curious as to how that was going to get. Well, I've been calling like the spiral coffin. Turn into whatever it actually was in the manga. I still don't think I actually know what it is in the manga. I thought it was some kind of just big basin, or I don't know. I just keep calling it spiral coffin. But the spiral coffin in this case is a washing machine. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And it also makes sense because there is more technology and stuff, I realized, that I don't think was in the manga that actually is a lot more like spirals. So like a washing machine. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So just, for some reason puts a mirror into the washing machine and then climbs in. And then just, I guess, we don't get to see what Toshio actually looks like. So we just know Kira eventually finds him in the washing machine. I assume all spiraled up in there. I don't know if it was actually turned on or not. In a dream it was. I don't know if it was in real life or, the reality of the film. Oh man, I just looked at my wall. The grossest Junji Ito story is Glyceride with the pus. I don't know why I have that on my wall. It's mostly hidden, but it's still gross. The like grease and I don't know. So that's the main thing with the dad. Then the mom, traumatized by that. Like cremated, ashes and whatever, smoke goes up in the sky. Does a little typhoon spiral down a lake. Then the mom is hospitalized from the trauma, cuts off the fingertips. Shuichi's trying to make things better, take care of the mom named Yukie. And then it just gets worse because then eventually Yukie has a dream about a millipede going in the ear and then realizes there's a spiral in the ear and just, kind of tries to get the Uzumaki out of the head very violently to the point of death. So that happens too. And then, just sticking to the main story for now, Shuichi and Kirie decide to finally leave. And when they do, they are looking for Kirie's dad, who's been making spiral pottery this whole time, become obsessed. And the part I don't think is in the manga, or I just don't remember it, is Kirie's dad, like, killing himself in the eye with a drill or something like that. Like a little spiral drill, whatever. I don't know. This was the point the story was trying to wrap up to end. And then Shuichi starts just getting twisted up. Legs get twisted up, body gets twisted up, and dies, then comes back like a weird spiral Uzumaki demon to try to get Kirie. And that's pretty much where the story actually ends. And that part made no sense, because of course that's not how it happens in the manga. In the manga, they make it all the way kind of to the end, and the whole town becomes a giant spiral, and then they go to like the heart of it, and then just become spirals down there together. At first I thought I was going to try to do the lovers thing in the manga, where there's like two people who want to be in love and they turn into spirals, or they twist along each other and then go swimming off in the sunset or whatever. But no, that's not what happened. It was just weird. He just randomly starts getting twisted up. It was just random. It was really like, oh, the movie needs to end. Yeah, this is what happens. So that's like the main story. The other part of this mystery is there's a reporter named Tamura who, like, apparently the dad, Toshio, went to learn about history of the village or something. I think that's where the spiral obsession started. But Tamura was here trying to help investigate this and find some connection with a mirror and serpents or whatever, and is doing research into it, sees some stuff, and this is all like off to the side. But then when Tamura dies, because spoiler that, who I also don't think is in the manga at all, unless I'm just completely forgetting, I don't know. But then once Tamura dies, the whole mirror and snake thing is just completely forgotten. So that was kind of pointless. Yeah. Also, the way Tamura dies doesn't make too much sense. I think there was an eye that even comes out. It was a car crash. We'll go through that. You can probably guess what caused that car crash if you haven't seen the film but read the manga. So then with this, there's a few other things just sprinkled in just to get the mystery going, and it doesn't feel too rushed. These other things just like they pop up, literally, and like there you see them kind of start getting weaved in, which I thought was a good job. And unless the anime did it too like this, I don't know. So that way they can have multiple things going on, but not trying to do like here's one thing. It's like all these things are kind of going on. Things are starting to get weird with other people, and then those slowly build up. We only really get to see one come to full fruition in the story, similar enough to how it happens in the manga. The rest, like, start up, and then it's like a montage at the end of like, and then here's the bad things that happen to everyone else. So the main one I'm talking to, and who we see pretty much right away in the beginning, is Yamaguchi, the Jack in the Box. for some keeps jumping out at Kyrie. Of course, really has a crush. Of course, Kyrie keeps turning Yamaguchi down. And then as it goes on, this keeps happening. There's a point, gives an actual Jack in the Box, and then finally, who I just mentioned. There's a point where Kirei gets a ride home with Kimura in a car, and it keeps doing like the point of view of the people in the car, and it's like pretty much one of the only times it does it. I was like, oh, that's weird. Why would they just suddenly do this? I'm like, oh, this is when Yamaguchi's going to get hit and ran over. It's not. I was like, damn it. It kept happening. I was like, oh. It was actually Yosuo Kiryei's dad who they almost hit. And that's when the spiral point started with them. But then eventually, it's the car crash where Tomura dies. Tomura's tired. Yamaguchi tried popping up Akira, who's just over it, and Yamaguchi's like, I'll make sure you remember me, blah, 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 and then goes and jumps out in front of the car, and that's that. Oh, no, okay, never mind. There was a part with this that didn't happen, which is Yamaguchi becoming like the spring boy, and hopping around like a ghost or monster or whatever, chasing Kyrie. That part didn't happen. Never mind. So that wasn't even fully done yet. Well, that's a shame. Dang. Oh well. And then besides that, there is Sekino, who has like a gang of whatever. Really weird. Not how I remember looking in the manga at all. Hanging out in the bathroom, which is, I guess, a thing. I don't know. Smoking. I don't know. Did this take place in the U.S.? Because this is like very U.S. stuff. Yeah. Also, toilets. You hear the toilet flushing. Those also have spirals in them. So that works out. But yeah, there's the whole hair thing with Sekino. But it's not really played out throughout the film. That one, at least. Eventually, you see near the end, hair is like getting all swirly or spirally, but it also looks really bad. And it never happens to Kyrie, so you never get the hair cut off. And then at the very end, as part of the montage, we see Sekino got like hair stuck in electric and died like that. So we didn't get to see that fully either. Oh, I don't remember if this is in the manga either, because it's just little things that they had to add. There was someone playing on the railings in the staircase in the school, and like jumps or falls off down the spiral staircase, which I don't know, what a weird design, and falls and dies like that. They're like shocked at first, and they're like, okay, get back to school, which is a really weird thing. I'm pretty sure it seemed like it was like literally the same day kid dies, and they're like, okay, never mind. I remember when kids died at our school. We also didn't give the day off. Never mind. Kids can just die and it's okay. No, it's not okay. But, of course, they're not going to do anything to, stop kids dying at schools. And then there was... Who next? Wait, is there... I think there's only one more. Is it Snail Boy? I think Snail Boy's the only other one I can think of that was in this film, right? And this happens like so much later into it. Snail Boy has a name. What is it? I will find it. I don't remember. Oh, Snail Boy. Katayama shows up because it was raining. Just looking all slimy and stuff. Super slow. He then gets bullied. And then the bullies get like slimy stuff all over them. Yeah. And then eventually, every now and then you see even the teacher and the bullies, they're like just drinking water. And their shells start coming a little bit. And then it's back to the montage where it's like, oh, there's giant snails all over now. So there was that. We don't get to see one eat the snail people. or we don't even see too many turning into snails, like eventually happens. Because in the manga, it's like eventually, if you move too slow, you start turning into snails, or that's what people think. And then, of course, people are starving, so they're like, I'm going to climb into your shells, start eating you, which is just so fucking disturbing. And then it's like, oh, if you move too fast, you start causing like whirlwinds and stuff. But that part definitely doesn't happen. And then, was there anything else in the montage I missed? There may have been. I just didn't notice it right away or through. There was no scar. That is the most disappointing one that they didn't show, because I feel like that's one of the most iconic parts of Uzumaki that most people would know about. So that's sad. No lighthouse. No umbilical cord mushrooms, which is where the boobs were in the manga. So fucked up because they try to put the baby back into the person. How did this manga get into my high school? What at? Of course, it doesn't go where. Okay, where it stops is a reporter comes to report on stuff. Then you get to go into the tunnel, and all you hear is like, "Oh, I want to see the end." So there's that, because eventually you can't go back out of the tunnel. You see a storm coming, but then most of the spirals is just like from the cremation, from the pottery fire, whatever, stuff like that builds up. I feel like there might have been more, and I just didn't notice because it wasn't that obvious. Try to remember what else was in it. Of course, you don't get the big finale. The buildings don't become one giant building. Was there a researcher? I'm starting to remember like another random guy. I don't know what that was. Maybe there was in the later half. There's a reporter in it later. I don't know. What else was in the manga that I'm not remembering? Because in the second half, there's less of these like episodic Uzumaki moments, or it's just one thing after another. But I don't know. Overall, I just like how this actually happened and worked out. Dang, hang on. I'm going to get my. Oh, I have a Uzumaki coloring book. Oh, let's look at this. Okay. Oh, damn, that's the womb one. That one's fucked up. That's weird. Oh, the like bug, mosquito, whatever, drilling into people. What is am I? Oh, the giant spiral, blah 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 thing. Oh yeah, okay. The lighthouse. I already mentioned that. Snowboy. Ew, that's so fucked up. Jack in the Box. Why is this a coloring book? Also, why is there a Uzumaki coloring book? Oh yeah, the Twisted Couple. I already mentioned that. Oh yeah, the scar. That's weird. Ooh. Oh, that's where the millipede come from. I forgot that Toshio, the dad, also looked like a millipede kind of thing in this case. I don't know. Hang on. No, it didn't. That was just the dream. Okay. It's so fucked up. It's so weird. What is this? Like some little weird wash basin? Oh, the eyeballs. There was a lot of focus on eyes. There was a lot of spinning things it focuses on. I don't know what was up with the eyes. Oh, wait. This isn't manga. That's why it seemed like everything's backwards. A spiral tower going underground. Wow. Okay. I don't know why I'm like telling you what I'm looking at. If you most likely also have this stuff, or can look it up. The whirlwinds blowing. The house. Everyone getting twisted up in the houses. Coming through the walls. Oh, was there researcher or whatever, is the one who made the wall or started building all the houses together into one giant spiral. Okay, I'm actually pulling out my Uzumaki copy so I can actually look through this. Let's just go to table of contents. I can tell you enough just from that. Spiral Session, Scar. The Scar was that early. Third chapter, huh? The Firing Effect? I don't know that one. Just based off the title, I don't know that one. The Firing Effect. What the fuck is it? Oh, that's still the Scar. Oh, okay, the Pottery. Yeah. Firing Effect is the Pottery. Blah, blah, blah. Medusa. The Hair. Jankbox Snail. Black Lighthouse. Mosquitoes. Umbilical Cords. The Storm. The House. Butterflies. Chapter 14. Butterflies. Huh. I don't remember what butterflies would be. 427? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's just when stuff starts getting chaotic and random. Ooh. People start getting like weird spirally warts on it. Oh, this isn't even a review of the book or the film anymore. Oh no, that's right. I forgot about the person who was like a peeping Tom and that getting fucked up. Yeah, all of it's just weird. Oh, there's the butterfly. What was the butterfly? Oh, the wing flapping, causing tornadoes and stuff. Everything's just getting... Okay, so yeah, that's when it stops being like case by case and just more overall spiraling. Sorry if I went on a little rant there. Or not rant, but rambling. There's just so much weird stuff. And that's why I got into Junji Ito in the first place. Because, I don't know, I'm probably weird. But that's pretty much all I need to really say about it. I guess they got a decent amount in here that I realized. I wish maybe the second half could have been its own movie. Of course, it's been 25 years. Oh, it's been 25 years. I should have done this movie last month in February. It wouldn't make... I don't know. It doesn't matter. So yeah, that's it. Where do I even go from here? This is weird. I don't know what I'm going to watch next. It could be anything. It will actually be anime this time. No more live actions for a while. Maybe not even this year. It'll be okay. But yeah, I'm surprised that this was actually story-wise, screenplay-wise, done decently. I guess the acting was okay. I don't know, like kind of cheesy and awkward at times. But it's fine. But yeah, before I ramble on too much more, I'll just leave it at that. It's on Amazon, so if you want to watch it, give it a try. I might have to try to hunt down, see if I can legitimately watch the other Junji Ito adaptations, because I didn't know there were so many already. I hope there's more. I wish they would redo Uzumaki, because it'll be so cool. And not like and just actually do it well. I want to see if I can find the Long Dream one, because that was one of my favorite stories too. But yeah, that's it. I had my twisted green tea, which absinthe and some tea. Mix it up. It's not green anymore, but it's a very green movie. All that stuff I said. So, let me know if there is a very obvious drink I should have known of. I'm sure there's a drink with spiral or twist or something in the name. Of course, I mean, twisted tea is already a thing. Yeah, so you can do that. Leave comments. Find me on social media. Join my Discord. Email me. Did I say that? I don't know. All that fun stuff. I'll leave links in the description to do all that. But I also want to thank my Ko-fi and Patreon members. Well, one member specifically, Julio Vasquez. If you also want to help support me on those, you can. You don't have to. I appreciate either way. You'll see my notes that I took or wrote down, and they're a mess. These may be my worst notes. I did the funny little cute thing of very lightly putting a Uzumaki throughout the whole page, but holy shit, they're hard to read because drinking and writing. Oh, there's something I missed. Okay, sorry. I'm not leaving yet. I'm not done. The reporter, Tamura's car, the license plate was 6669. Fucking nice. But also, I think the main point was 666 to make it demonic. I'm forgetting all the best stuff. But also, it was split up, so 69 was by itself. That's what's up. Fuck yeah. Nice. And then, near the beginning, just sticking out, there's a Junji Ito wanted poster that's just there. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. Also, I don't think Junji Ito's aged any. Realizing this, because I've seen recent interviews with Junji Ito, still looks the same. Doesn't look old. So it's not like I'm saying, oh, you've looked old for a while. You still look the same. It's been 25 years since that wanted poster. Okay, so yeah, there's that. So yeah, thanks anyone who listened to this rambling mess. I'm going to have to find more Jujutsu. Maybe I'll give other things a chance. The other Uzumaki one a chance. But yeah, so that is it for this alcohol and anime. I've been your otaku trainer, the AC Stories. Until next month. Bye.